Hi guys, and welcome to Sundat Reset. I'm Chloe River, the founder of Aligned to Become, and this is your space to slow down, reconnect, and return home to your center. Today we are going to be talking about taking leaps of faith, which I am so excited about. We have a couple of questions that we're going to be answering from our community. But before we begin, let's drop into our 10 minutes of relaxation and restoration. We're going to be doing something a little bit different to the last 2 weeks. We're going to be doing an alternate nostril breathing technique. This is a beautiful way to bring balance back into your body and also to bring a layer of deep purification through your mind and through your body. I absolutely love doing this. You can take it with you anywhere you go. You can do it for 1 minute, for 5 minutes, and you can really just use it as a way to bring yourself back into your center and back into the present moment. If you don't feel like doing the ritual today, that is totally okay. If you're feeling like resting and rejuvenating and receiving, I invite you instead to get your blanket out, to grab yourself a pillow and to lay down. Put the pillow behind your head or underneath your knees, and to just lay down and to receive today's session, to receive the audio, to receive the music, and just give yourself space and time over the next 10 minutes to just either close your eyes down or let your mind wander in the space around you. You'll also need your pen and your journal for the end of the teaching, and of course your old and faithful cup of tea if that is your thing. I invite you to get comfortable. We're going to be using our hands. You won't need anything else. Ideally, you are sitting either in a cross-legged position on the ground level. It's a bit tricky for me because I'm sitting on the couch, but ideally if you're on a flat surface. Alternatively, you can sit in a restorative position like this with your legs underneath your knees. Whatever feels comfortable for you, just take a moment now to get seated and comfortable and ready to begin. To begin, we're going to do a couple of deep purifying breaths through each nostril. Bring your right hand, your pointer finger and your middle finger to the center of your forehead. Take your thumb and place it over your right nostril, leaving your left nostril open and clear to breathe. When you're ready, I invite you to take a few deep, purifying breaths in through your left nostril and back out. We're going to alternate sides now, so bring your left hand up, bring your middle and pointer finger to the center of your forehead, and place your thumb over your left nostril, leaving your right nostril free to breathe. Go ahead now and take a few deep purifying breaths in and out of your right nostril. Now we're going to take a couple of deep breaths in through both nostrils and back out, breathing in for a count of 1, 2, and back out through your nostrils. And again, breathing in through your nostrils down into your belly, and slowly breathing back out through your nose.
and back in through your nostrils, filling your belly up and breathing out through your nose. Now we are going to do our alternate nostril breathing technique. Bring your right hand, your pointer finger and your middle finger to your forehead. Take your thumb and place it over your right nostril. Take a deep breath in through your left nostril and swap over to your ring finger, placing it over your left nostril, breathing out through your right nostril. Again, breathing in through your right nostril, swapping over to your thumb and breathing out with your left nostril. You're going to repeat this a couple of times now. And once you've started to find a nice rhythm with your nostril breathing, if you would like to weave in a nice gentle mantra. And the mantra is going to go like this. When you breathe in through your nostril, you're going to say to yourself, I am here. And as you breathe out of your nostril, you're going to say to yourself, I am now, just in your mind. And do this each time you take your breath. Stay in this practice for as long as you like. Alternatively, relax your arms with your palms either facing down or up to the sky, depending on what you're feeling like today. And we're just going to sit here for a little moment of stillness before we go into our teaching. If you aren't already, begin returning back into your body and into the present moment now.
I invite you to take a breath in through your nose and see if you can smell any new smells in the space around you after the alternate nostril ritual. Just return home to this space now, checking in with yourself and seeing in your body, in your mind, in your soul, if you feel like you're a little bit more present here today, present in this moment, and just to check in with yourself with how you're feeling before we dive into the alignment teaching for today. So get yourself comfortable and set up in a new position. Have a sip of your tea if you've got a tea. I love being able to share these channelings with you guys. I love being able to share this space with you. It feels very, I feel very lucky. I feel very fortunate to not only bring this body of work into the world, but to get to share it with you. That's what my heart has been yearning for the past 4 years as I've been channeling this work and working alongside my team to really start to bring the ATB work into the world. So if you are here and you're watching this, thank you so much. I am eternally grateful to get to share this space with you. And today we are talking about taking leaps of faith. I don't know about you, but taking leaps of faith are equal parts exciting, I think, and terrifying for a lot of our community, for a lot of people in the world. And so I'm really going to start diving into a little bit around what I channeled this week for taking leaps of faith and why that might be the case. So taking leaps of faith is integral to the alignment journey. It is a core pillar of aligning with your truth, and it really comes through in particular when you start becoming. So with the alignment journey, we have the unbecoming and we have the becoming. So we have the unbecoming, the turn of the tides, and then the becoming stage of the alignment journey. This is not something that happens linear. This is something that spirals. So you spiral to unbecome, meaning you go through into the darkness and back out into the light. We all do this. And when you start to slow down and actually observe the alignment journey and your natural rhythms and processes, you'll probably also find that your journey works in a rhythm of going into the darkness, experiencing something that might be hard or disappointing or just you can't even explain. You go into that space, and after you move through that thing, and the more you're able to feel it and become aware of it and drop into it, you're then able to come out into the light, having processed it, and your experience in the light is so much stronger. So if you are here, if you are listening to this today, I really invite you to start tuning into the rhythm that you are experiencing, that you are going through in your life, and start to see if you can notice or witness and observe that spiraling nature of going into the darkness and back out into the light over and over again. So with the alignment journey, we have the unbecoming stage and we have the becoming stage of the alignment journey. When you're unbecoming, the leap of faith you're being invited to do is to clear space and release and let go of as much as you possibly can. That is what your leaps of faith are going to look like. And each time you do, you are walking up the ladder towards the turn of the tides, that turning point in your journey from unbecoming to becoming. So every time you clear space, you release and let go of something that is no longer meant for you, you actually are taking leaps in faith over and over again towards the turning point, towards the turn of the tides. Now, when that inverts, so when you go through the turn of the tide, the journey, it's like an hourglass. Think of like an hourglass. The unbecoming inverts on itself, and you start becoming. Now, what you do is you start spiraling upwards in abundance, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You still go into the darkness and you still come out into the light. The difference between, I find, unbecoming and becoming is the unbecoming is about the external world around you. So it's really about like clearing away things in your environment that aren't meant for you. When you start becoming, it becomes much more of an internal journey. So what fears reside inside of me? What things are blocking me from taking leaps of faith? So with all that being said, leaps of faith are integral in both the unbecoming and the becoming stage of the journey, but they're really important when you go through that turning point, when you start going through the turn of the tides, in order to allow you to start pushing through roof ceilings. The way we like to say it here at ATB is you are turning a roof ceiling, you're dissolving a roof ceiling into a glass ceiling so that you can break through it and move on to a new place, a new space, a new way of being that your soul has never known, that you've probably never seen in your lineage as far back as you can go, or as far back as to where going into these spaces was maybe broken or damaged due to trauma, or these sorts of things. So when you start becoming, you're going to start being invited to take leaps of faith in order to push through a roof ceiling, to turn a roof ceiling into a glass ceiling so that you can break through it. And each time you do this, you're going to be moving to new places, new ways of being that you've never been before. If taking leaps of faith wasn't fostered for you in your formative years, it's most likely going to feel a lot harder for you to take leaps of faith in your adult years. So what are we actually doing when we take leaps of faith? When we're leaping, we are not leaping into the known. And this is like the key part of taking leaps of faith. We are specifically leaping into the unknown. We are going to spaces and places and doing things that our soul or our lineage or our mind, our subconscious mind, has never been before, or has very little muscle memory on how to do. So when you're leaping, you are taking leaps of faith into spaces that you have never been before, that you've never been role modeled. So it is extremely hard to do. And if you're also raised in an environment that you are encouraged to keep safe and to stay safe for a majority of your childhood, this is going to be particularly hard for you. Taking leaps of faith, because you're leaping into the unknown, you aren't going to know what or how it feels like to do what you're going to do until you've done it. So one of our community's questions was, how do you know if you're leaping in the right direction? And the answer is you don't. Leaps of faith are not about something being right or wrong. It's not about whether it's going to succeed or turn out. So then when we start to think about taking leaps of faith, we can actually remove the decision-making process. Leaps of faith are all about strengthening that heart muscle, strengthening that trust muscle, strengthening the muscle inside of us that is brave, which is the heart muscle, that allows us to go and do things no matter the outcome, no matter how it's going to turn out. And this taking leaps of faith is really important for building our internal compass. Because what we're saying to ourselves, what we're practicing, what we're learning is, what you're practicing, what you're learning is, I don't need to know the outcome in order to take the leap. So as you start taking leaps of faith and you start working that heart muscle that allows you to take leaps of faith, you are going to be learning how to be comfortable in taking action, taking embodied action steps, taking leaps of faith despite the outcome, despite what it's going to look like to the people around you, despite what kind of affirmations you get for it, or accolades, or love, or any of this stuff. You're saying, I'm going to take a leap, I'm going to be brave, no matter the outcome. And this is really important when it comes to taking leaps of faith. So when you do them, you're going to strengthen the internal compass, the muscle that trusts yourself. But you can also build your internal muscle through doing the ATB work so that you can take leaps of faith more. And in the first week of August, we are launching our Return to Self ritual, which is, we're launching the pre-sale for the ritual. It will be launching on the 1st of September. And this is a beautiful ritual to begin opening up your heart space, opening up your heart, and giving it spaciousness in order to start taking more leaps of faith. So if you are someone who struggles with taking leaps of faith, I strongly recommend looking into purchasing the Return to Self ritual. It is extremely affordable. It is going to be $20 pre-sale all of August, and that is for 12 months access to the 4-day ritual. And then after that, from the 1st of September all the way through to next year, it'll be $28, a one-off purchase for 12 months access. So if this is calling to you, jump onto our website, have a look at the Return to Self ritual. This is going to be so helpful for you to start taking those leaps of faith that we are talking about here. Okay, so something I wrote down this week is that kids don't have detailed strategies before they leap. Neither do we. So this is a key point, that a leap might feel more, so this is a key point. We're not meant to have a strategy, we're not meant to have a plan when we take a leap. You're actually leaping into a space that you have no idea how to do, no idea what you're meant to be doing. Another key thing is that a leap might feel more simple than you expect, but it will still call on you to be brave to do it. So it might feel like coming into Sunday Reset, we didn't have a big plan. We've never done this before. This was a massive leap of faith. However, going into it, I actually felt really calm and really, it was surprisingly effortless and easeful to enter into this space despite not having a big plan. I still felt nervous. It still felt like a massive leap of faith, but it didn't feel as hard as I was expecting that it would. And this is a good sign that something is in alignment with your soul's truth. Taking leaps of faith is how we become brave. It's how we strengthen that heart muscle. And it's how we grow love-centered emotions and feelings and really foster bravery. So even if you are someone who struggles with decision making and taking action on something when you don't know the outcome, then I invite you to really flip this and think about taking leaps of faith as allowing you to feel a wider range of emotions. So don't focus on the outcome. Don't focus on whether other people will approve of you or whether it will go right or wrong or anything like this. Think about what taking that leap will offer you and invite you to feel and experience in your heart center. Think about what it's going to do for opening up your heart, making you feel feelings that you may never have felt before, and giving you those feelings of excitement, bravery, and learning. This is a muscle that you can strengthen. I want to make that really clear. Taking leaps of faith is a muscle, the heart muscle, that you can strengthen by doing it more and more and more. So at first, it might feel really hard to do, and it might take a lot of time to take that first leap. And just know that is totally okay. You need to look after yourself as well in this process and listen to your body. However, start to tune in and feel, when is that moment that my body is like, all right, I need to leap. There's no more planning. There's no more procrastinating. There's no more finding other solutions. This will be a natural evolution in your journey, particularly if you're inside of the map and the return to self ritual and doing this work. This stuff will just start to present itself to you, and the world around you will start to present opportunities for you to take leaps of faith. So this is a sign that you're becoming, that you're in that stage where you're being invited to go to places you've never been before, maybe your ancestors have never been before, and to start taking those leaps and to start strengthening that heart muscle. Leaping is not about succeeding. That is not the point. You're going to leap and you might do things that didn't turn out how you expected, but what you're doing is gaining biofeedback to inform yourself on how that leap went and what you could do again differently. If you're really struggling to understand the nature of leaps of faith, think about a little kid who has to ride a dirt bike off of a dirt mound. They have, for the first time, they have no idea how that launch is going to go, how the landing's going to go, but they do it anyway. And they learn from that first go, and they keep on building on it and improving on it. And every single time they're just building on the foundation from that first leap. And you might experience that it feels like a leap over and over again, but you're going to start building that confidence, that strength, and that ability to feel more feelings. So that's everything I really channeled. That feedback, by the way, so I've just wrote here, when you leap, what happens is you receive feedback or biofeedback, whether through yourself, through data, through others. And this feedback is not criticism. It is the full picture coming together for you. So think of your life, your alignment journey as like a puzzle piece or a puzzle board, and you've got all these other people's puzzle pieces inside of your puzzle. The unbecoming stage of the taking leaps of faith is removing all those puzzles and trusting that your puzzle will be the one left behind. And then when you go through that turning point, the turn of the tide, taking leaps of faith is putting those pieces back together to create your full picture of your life. So each leap of faith is biofeedback for how you put the next piece together. And this is how we build and create what we create. Nothing happens overnight. I know on the online world there is so much information about quick wins and quick sales, but true sustainable foundations get laid when we do this stuff every single day for the rest of our lives. And the sooner you begin, the sooner you get to start building the life you came here to live in the fullest expression of your soul's truth. The final question is, are leaps, I love this question, are leaps of faith big or small? They're everything. They can be anything from sending a message to someone to tell them that you love them or to tell them how you feel about something. It could be putting an application in for a promotion or for an incredible big offer. It could be moving countries or cities. A leap of faith can be anything from a thought you choose to change within, a thing that you choose to bring into the world, all the way through to big, massive shifts and moves. So leaps of faith encompass anything that is inviting you to make a step forward in your life. I think that's everything. I could go on for so much longer, and I feel like I've probably gone over time already. So we're going to get straight into the journaling. Today's question is, what is one thing I am being invited to leap in right now? What is one area in your life that you are being invited to leap? So let's go ahead and write that question down. Feel free to open your journal and title it Leap of Faith with the date above. I don't actually know what the date is. Beautiful. And the question is, what is one leap I'm being invited to take right now? So I'm just going to let us drop in for the next 5 minutes because we've probably gone over time. And I just invite you to write down and see if you can pull forward one leap that you're being invited to take right now. I feel like this is going to stretch me as well. So yeah, let's drop in and see what we discover. Okay, so I'll wrap it up there, and if you, we'll wrap up the journaling there, and if you need to come back to this throughout the week, please do. But I thought I'd just share what came through from my leap of faith. I thought this was quite funny. Going into this question, I was like, oh, I've been leaping a lot lately. I'm very curious what's going to come through. And I asked the question, and then the thing that came forward for me was to take embodied action on the embodied action step that I created in day 2 of the Return to Self ritual. So Em and I have been doing the ritual over and over again over the past 6 to 12 months. We've been building it for, I don't even know, since the beginning of this year, every single week just working on it. And I started day 2 2 nights ago. And what came through was relationships. So on day 2, we get you to dive in and pull forward your one priority that if you were to tend to right now would bring ripple effects in your life. Mine is relationship, which is really nice. And my embodied action was to get a page in my journal and just write down all of my wants and needs in our relationship with no shame, no guilt, no judgment, and just write them all down to start to see if I can unpack any themes or patterns or layers of things that I'm wanting in my relationship, and to also get much more clear on using my voice and communicating my wants and needs in our relationship. So I just thought it was really funny that this led me back to the return to self ritual. And yeah, I hope that today's episode, Sunday Reset, has been helpful for you. Next week, we're going to be talking about letting go to wrap up this month's theme, which is dreaming big. And then next month, we're going to be diving into the return to self ritual for 8 whole weeks. So we're going to be spiraling around themes to do with the return to self ritual and really diving into the details of the return to self ritual. So I invite you to join me next week for letting go. Have a beautiful week. Happy aligning.